we're good. That was a little creepy, not gonna lie. But anyway, so yeah. Wow, I'm just flying through the shows. I'm just flying right through the shows. I thought maybe more I'd talk about Comic-Con and stuff. I'll just stare at you for like 4 hours. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So we're out of the Wednesday shows, which can't wait for more of them to come out. And we're gonna go to Thursday. Now Thursday is a big day because they name it Thursdays. Thank God it's Thursdays, and it's all because of one woman, Shonda Rhimes. Scandal, Grey's Anatomy, and this show. How to Get Away with Murder. Not How to Murder. How to Get Away with Murder. It doesn't really fit on that small banner. I'll fix it. I don't watch Scandal. I don't watch Grey's Anatomy. You've heard the reason why. I'm not going to get into it anymore. It just shows that I don't watch. But How to Get Away with Murder, I watch and I love. Oh. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to us? What are you doing to everybody? How to Get Away with Murder. Annalise Keating. Viola Davis. I know you're the same woman, but oi. You put the feels on me. You put the feels on. The case in this episode, and I'll throw the case in this episode that they do for the one-off. That now, throughout the whole story arc for the entire season, they're going over a pair of kids, not twins, but a pair of kids who were adopted. Their parents, the adopted parents, were found in their mansion, bound, tortured, and then murdered in a gunshot in the head. They're looking at the kids for it. Main witness in the whole thing was another family member. And then we are with them. Everybody thinks it's the kids. And I think that's where they want to steer you, is that everybody wants you to think that it's the kids. But for some reason, Annalise Keating is looking... she's their attorney, so she's looking for a way for them not to be the kids. Yeah. So we're stuck with this whole thing of whether or not is it them or is it not, and that's the story. It's kind of like last season we were trying to figure out who killed the blonde girl, and that was the overlaying story arc. That story will always be there. However, every episode will have a different court case, and I got to tell you, the way that Annalise Keating, the way that Shonda Rhimes, because she's the one that writes the TV show, and her team of writers, that get through all of these court, all of these stories and trials and everything like that, yeah, like they do a really great job. Even week to week, the trials that we're in week to week, to keep Annalise on her feet and thinking about other things other than what's going on in her personal life as well as what's going on in her professional life. This keeps her even-keeled. And she is ruthless in court, both on the witness stand that we found last week's episode and in every episode as she is as a lawyer. This week's episode, it dealt with the trial for the actual episode, and I'll throw this up again. It was a woman who had been charged with murdering her lover while they were having sex. The whole episode was about sex. So this woman was a sex worker of sorts. Sound like she was a madam at a sex party, and while she was with a client, the client had a heart attack and died, and they wanted to charge her for involuntary manslaughter, in which Annalise Keating was able to get her off. No pun intended, although it was a good pun. So anyway, Annalise Keating used the powers that be to help win her case, in which she said, even in the show, that I never lose. I mean, that's true. Have we seen her lose yet? I thought there was one case that she lost in court. Or did she lose it and then she brought it back, like they brought it back in? I can't remember, but I thought there was one case that she lost, but maybe she lost it and then she was able to prove that she was right, or prove that, or, flip it. But anyway, a lot of times when people are listening to major court cases, whether it's in real life or in these TV shows and stuff, a lot of people think that it's either win or lose. Like, yes, they could get charged with murder, or they won't get charged with murder. The jury has to be convinced without a reason, beyond reasonable doubt. That is the actual terms, beyond reasonable doubt. So it is up to the defense attorney, who is Annalise Keating and her kids. Then it is up to her to put even just a hint of ounce. And that's what she's there to do. And she's very good at it. So the jury was able to find that doubt because of what Annalise Keating does. And she was able, and then the argument goes towards someone else. By and by the cases, that could mean that you find another suspect and you try to charge that suspect, or you try to go down the different lane of trying to get the same suspect. Like if the prosecution really thought that the suspect that they had on trial was the murderer or was the wrongdoer, but reasonable doubt was played, they'll try to get him on another case. But in this case, that did not happen. So Annalise Keating was able to prove the reasonable doubt, and then the prosecution was done. As far as the bigger story arc, I feel bad for Asher. I'm not going to get into too much detail as to what's going on with him, but the guy's just, in his own words, he's just awesome. He's a great character in the fact that he doesn't, it's almost like you want to feel bad because he's like an underdog. But at the same time, he could be the top dog. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. But here's this kid. His dad is a judge, which we knew from season 1, so that's not a spoiler. But his dad's a judge, and he knows the law world, I think, a little bit better than what people probably would expect from him. And I would say that his whole attitude of like jock kind of thing, where it's just like, dude, man, or like the fraternity type brother that he's supposed to be. I don't want to say it's a ruse. I don't want to say that that he's purposely doing that. I think that's his real personality. But I would have to say, if you put him in a courtroom, he's not just going to sit there and be like, yo, bro, so check it. and I'll use this week's trial as an example because it's still fresh in my mind. Um, bro, like, yeah, man, the victim was totally getting his rocks off like on another girl, but for real, y'all should be looking at his wife because she's the one who's like totally jealous. Like he's not going to walk into a court and act like that. But that's kind of what his character is. His character um, is that quote unquote fraternity guy. And I don't say that all fraternity guys are roped into that sort of mentality, but that's the norm. I mean, it's that's the stereotype. That's the word I was looking for. That's the stereotype, and he's fitting into that stereotype. And you feel bad for him because he's he likes Bonnie, who we saw is they've been hooking up and whatnot, but he's been put in such a tough decision that he has to let that go. That I don't know if he's going to fight for it, and you see him get a little desperate, and I hope Asher. Oh, I just noticed something. I just realized something. Oh. I just realized something. I don't know if I should say it on air. And bear with me, folks. And you know what? I'm gonna throw this scene. I'm gonna throw this up. Yeah, this needs this. This needs this. In all the cut in the beginning and the end of the episodes, where you see Annalise on the floor bleeding, and in the second episode you saw you saw the prosecutor on the ground with the blood around her head. You don't see Asher. You only see Wes, Laurel, the suave gay dude, and the other guy. You don't see Asher. Huh. Now, for those of you who didn't watch season 1 and don't mind the spoiler alert, first off, I'm going to do this and do this. I just had a complete realization for something, and I got to keep that in the back of my mind for the rest of the season. But in the first season, Asher was not really involved with what was going on with the main storyline. He was kind of oblivious to everything. In fact, he was being used as kind of a patsy in the first season because, again, that frat guy stereotype where he is, where he's a partier and like he rather go like if he had a chance to study for Annalise's midterm exam or go to the bonfire and party his ass off, excuse my French, he would rather go to the party, which is cool, which is great, but he wasn't involved in all the shenanigans that went on in the first season of How to Get Away with Murder. So now I'm just sitting there wondering, like, if he something to keep on your mind. Let me know if you have any ideas like that. If you watch How to Get Away with Murder and you saw that, type it in chat and be like, oh my god, you just blew my mind. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. And then going back to it. So Asher right now is he's just hurting. He's looking for a bro. To hang out with. I feel bad for Asher. I do. Another thing that you see is Annalise Keating is she's trying to get through her um, get through her life. Um, she wants to get through her life, personally too. She wants to live her life, but she's had so many bad things happen to her. She lost her husband. She's just been taken to court in which she was on trial, but not the guy who was actually on trial, who was her lover, Nate, who was the cop in the first season. Now he's not, but they're trying to get the name back. I don't know. She tried to help him get his job back, which we'll see if it works or not. Yeah, Annalise Keating is you see her personal life is falling apart, and she does get scared at one point, and she says that Frank was not answering. Okay, Frank doesn't have to answer. But she calls Wes, and that relationship's a little weird. I mean, it was a little weird to begin with, but everybody was so distracted by that in the first season because Rebecca was still around. But now that Rebecca's not around, which is something we'll get into in a little bit, you're kind of just like, that relationship between Annalise and Wes is just somewhat inappropriate. Somewhat inappropriate. Huh. Yeah. A little inappropriate, right? Right? I'm not the only one who sees it. It's a little inappropriate. So, on the Rebecca front, Wes was, pretty much going to give up because, she doesn't want, if Rebecca doesn't want to get back to him, Rebecca doesn't want to get back to him. But we find out that he knows we find out that he sees someone that he knows, and he saw him in a picture with Rebecca. And you're sitting there, you're like, how does he know him? Or what does he know? And all this stuff. And then you find out that, a huge thing. When Rebecca was trying to call for help at the end of season 1, she had typed in a very specific word, and that specific word obviously was texted to someone. And the phone that she was using belonged to one of the other students. I think, what's her name? Jacqueline? Is that her name? The girl that was engaged is Jacqueline? But anyway, Jacqueline then starts, hanging out with this new guy, and Wes meets him for a second there, and we find out that Wes does know who this guy is. And they kind of make a pact. Now, I heard one thing, and my wife-to-be heard another thing. Now, at first, Wes did not want him near the girl that he was hooking up with. Is it Jacqueline? I can't remember. But anyway, Wes does not want him around this girl. Not because she's trouble, but because, this guy is trying to figure out where Rebecca is because something just seems off. And that throws up red flags and whatnot. But then what I thought was Wes told him, well, we need, Wes didn't tell him to go, he didn't change his mind and said, all right, you know what, actually do go upstairs and see her. He just said, well, we need to keep, it's Michaela. How did I get Jacqueline? How did I get that? Well, thank you, Chelsea. Thank you for correcting me, as you always do. Because I am not always right. I know I said I was always right, but I'm not always right. But anyway, Michaela, not Jacqueline, Michaela. So every time I said Jacqueline, just think Michaela. So, um, Wes did say, I thought Wes didn't necessarily say, like, sit there and go, like, all right, I don't want you to see Michaela. And then he sits there and goes, hey, you know what? Go see Michaela. He wants, I think what he said was, to keep up appearances. Just do what you were doing. If you were going to see Michaela, you're going to see Michaela. And now Wes is going to start investigating, in which now Wes taps into another resource, an unlikely resource, but he taps into that resource, and then the cutscene at the end of the show, you get to see that resource being used or being utilized. If you go back, you do see that, he's driving at night. The person is driving at night, and then you see the same four people: Laurel, Michaela, Wes, and I can't remember that guy's name. I'm so terrible with names. But anyway, you get to see all of them. They're in trouble again, but there's no Asher. So again, is he going to be used as a patsy, or I just discovered that. Like, I kind of want to say that I'm so smart, but I'm not really that smart. Or I am really that smart. I don't know. But anyway, another huge bomb that was dropped in this episode, that pertains to the larger story arc for the whole season, was something was leaked to the press stating that the brother-sister defendants that Annalise Keating tried so hard to get, to have them hire her, was that they were involved with each other romantically, and because of this episode, I will only say this once, sexually. I think, I don't know what to make of that. That's a huge that is a huge accusation to make. And we'll see where that goes with that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm playing with my mic. I play with a lot of things. I'm looking at like 6 different things right now, too. So is that really a thing? Or is that not? I mean, we've already seen that the twins are least likely to tell the truth in a situation like that than they would ever be. Ever. So I guess we'll just have to see how that pans out, because every episode they seem to disappoint Annalise over and over again. And you haven't seen the 2 kids in the cutscenes, so you don't really know if that's the whole situation. So, and are they going to still lie to people? I don't know. Should they still lie to people? I don't know. I mean, you would think that they would be as truthful as they could be to your lawyer, the one that's trying so hard to get you, like, to not land you in prison for life, 25 to life, or better yet, I don't know if whatever. I think they're in Pennsylvania, right? They're in Philadelphia? Yeah, they're in Philadelphia. I don't know if Pennsylvania has a death penalty. If it did, these kids better stop lying, because the lying's just going to get them in prison. So that's that is something that popped out this week. That was a twist, a Shonda Rhimes twist that we didn't see coming because we don't usually see that kind of stuff coming. Yeah. And one question I'm always going to ask every week until we find out the answer is, who shot Annalise? Who do you think shot Annalise Keating? I actually want to know who the people think. Who do the people think shot Annalise Keating? Chat it up. Leave me a comment. Tweet it at me. Facebook me. Do whatever you need to do. But that's kind of the thing that we're thinking of. Who shot Annalise? How did she get on the floor with blood coming what seems to be out of her abdomen? Clearly, Annalise can't really die because there'd be no show without her. But if she can't die and she's dying, what's going on? And Shonda Rhimes is infamous for killing off major characters without really letting anyone know. I mean, yes, I do know it took them like 10 to 11 seasons to kill off McDreamy in Grey's Anatomy, which I'll throw this up. But, like, who killed Annalise? I mean, who shot Annalise? Oh yeah, you could do that. You can come back in. That's my, We're gonna find out. Obviously. Or else there would be no thing for the show. So yeah, so those were the, we'll find out. Another show that I watched that I really haven't, mentioned, I don't think, on this show, and it will probably be the last one I talk about tonight. I like everybody else, watched the first seasons. I don't know how to classify this show because there was other shows. There was another show that let me just throw the banner in there. Anyway, it's Hiro's Reborn. So now you should know what I'm talking about. So I did watch Hiro seasons 1 and 2, and I think 3 is where the writer's strike happened. So it was only they did the 2 half of seasons, and then it kind of went crazy. So I figured I'd give Hiro's Reborn a chance. I know Hayden isn't in it. Zachary Quinto, I don't think is in it. But the guy who plays Hiro, is in it. Zachary Levy or Levi, from Chuck. He is Chuck. He's now in it. The actor who plays Noah Bennett, Hayden's father in the show, he is also back in it. And there's a couple of little other characters sprinkled into it. We haven't seen Hiro yet, that I know of. No, we haven't. We haven't seen him yet. So Hiro's Reborn, for those of you who don't know, or I would say give it a chance. Like, be a little wary about it. You know, it is a reboot of another show. I don't want to say a failed show. I just think that it just kind of it didn't survive the writer's strike. That's where we'll leave it. It didn't survive the writer's strike. But that's where we're leaving it with, with Heroes. But now we have Heroes Reborn. So it's years down the line. It's about 5 or 6 years down the line. So they do kind of keep it up, and it's all based around this one event, June 13th. It was supposed to be a festive occasion because it's when the Evos, the evolved humans, and the normal humans were able to celebrate. It was kind of like a world peace sort of event. Happiness. So there were humans there were Evos there were, all sorts of things. And then all of a sudden things just went wrong. So it's all based around this one event. So now we're about 6 months later, a year later. I don't really know this. I don't really remember how far it is. There are 4 episodes into the season so far, and I keep recording it and I keep watching it. So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, that's why I'll probably talk about it too. So Noah is trying to recollect what had happened, and we found out that his mind had been erased by the Haitian who used to work for him and was still kind of working for him, because the Haitian erased Noah's memories upon Noah's request to do so. And Noah is trying to figure out what had happened. Hayden's character was killed off, so there will be no chance of seeing her. I know some people are sitting there saying, well, how could she have died if her ability was to never die, essentially? I don't know. Maybe we'll find that out. Maybe there was something in the blast that actually, killed her. Who knows? Or maybe she died the same way that Cyrus in the original Heroes show was able to kill people. It's a mystery. But we're going to find it out, of course, when Noah finds out. So Noah joined up with this guy whose sister, or it wasn't his biological sister, so his stepsister, I would say. She discovered she was an Evo as well, and she could control the negative energy. I don't mean negative energy like sadness from inside out. She can't sit there and cry in the rain and the world starts raining, but she can control shadows and dark energy. Negative, the negative. So there's light and then there's the negative, the shadows. She was kidnapped on a little bit before this June 13th incident, and now this brother is trying to find her. So he infiltrated this company that used to be Primatech, and Primatech used to be the company that Noah worked for, but now it's this new company that Noah doesn't work for, because Noah, whose mind had been completely erased, started a new life. And now he left the new life so he can go try to figure out what happened in his old life. And then there's these two other there are these 2 other characters, one of which is a girl whose father is a video game designer, and then there's this guy who is a streamer, kind of like me. And he's a famous streamer on a website. I mean, they don't say Twitch, but since I'm on Twitch, so I'll say Twitch. Again, Twitch, and or YouTube, because I do post these on YouTube. So YouTube. He's famous for playing this one game that this girl's father designed, and he discovers upon looking at this girl for the first time that she is she is the girl in the game. So they're on their own mission to try to find her father because he was kidnapped, and all the while she has this samurai sword that has the insignia on it in which Hiro has. So you would sit there and think that this is Hiro's samurai sword, his katana. But we haven't seen Hiro yet. We did get to see a couple of other characters that were from the old show, but one of them, unfortunately, did not make it to the end of this episode. And then we go over to Zachary Levi's character, who he and his wife were whatchamacallit, he and his wife were at the event with their son at this June 13th event. And again, they were celebrating. They were humans and they were celebrating everything. And the horrible explosion, it unfortunately killed their son. Killed their son. So now they're on kind of like this vengeful mission to try to take out all the Evos. And then they just happen by circumstance to find Noah Bennett's car, and Noah Bennett's car is from his old days, so it's got all of his paperwork in it, and he's got tags on every Evo out there. So now they're on this mission to kill every Evo that they can. There and forth, we are now, that's what these people are doing. And his wife is all about it. His wife is just trigger happy. I mean, you want to let her go in the Wild West, nobody will be robbing banks. Nobody will be robbing banks. And then you find out that Zachary's character has powers of his own. And in this episode, he does tell his wife, he does show his wife what his powers are. And it's kind of the nuclear power. Peter had it for a second, where he kind of gets as hot as the sun. But we'll see where that goes, because now Zachary's not with his trigger-happy wife, so we'll see. We will see. We will definitely see. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happens in that show. Is it as good as the first season of Heroes? I don't know. Oh, you also meet this girl who she did this cool thing with making the northern lights appear. And, she's holding her arms up to the sky and the northern lights appear. You find out in this episode that she actually can create life out of nothing. I guess she was training in the woods with her mentor, who, side note, she plays a Muslim, the woman is Muslim, the character is Muslim, and you see her praying. And I thought, in this day and age, that is awesome, to actually see that on screen. I'm sure we've seen it in other TV shows. Homeland is most likely the one that you've mostly seen it in. You have seen it in the movies where they do movies about Afghanistan or Iraq or anything that dealt with the Muslim nature. But you got to see it in this show for just a brief second, and I thought it was just fantastic. I thought it was really cool. So anyway, she's teaching this girl who is still trying to harness her powers and still trying to figure out her powers. And she brings life. She grows a tree in literally no time. Yeah. So she's going to probably play a big part, because I think what they are preparing for is the apocalypse. The tagline in the original Heroes first season was "Save the cheerleader, save the world." Well, the cheerleader's gone. So now it's just save the world. Well, this tagline is "Save the future." That's what it was. Save the future, which is the world. Yeah. So Heroes Reborn, giving it a chance. Is it as good as the first one? I think when we come across more of these Evos, I think it's got potential. I really do think it's got potential. Not for like a 10, 11 season run, but enough potential to get it out there. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. These streams are not just me talking at you. It's me talking with you, and I'll throw up my social stuff here. So I'll leave this on for now and for the end of the video. So this will be rolling, and you just contact me. Facebook, the new nerd in town. All right, let's see which one comes up next. I don't know. Oh, it's Twitch. It's right here. It's right here. It's the channel you're watching me on. Live. This is my live thing. And of course, when this is over and I chop it all up, it's going to show up. Not on Twitter. No, that was poorly planned. But anyway, you could tweet at me. Last week, Super John was tweeting pictures at me. We're not going to look at him this week, again, because that was from last week's show. That was from Wednesday's show. But hey, we are all set to have as much fun as possible. I want to know the TV shows that you're watching. I want to know the ideas that you had. I had an idea that just came to me tonight while I was discussing it with you the people. When I was discussing it with you, I discovered something. Or I think I discovered something. So, yeah. So that's it for the new nerd. I did get to watch The League. I got caught up on The League. The League is doing the same kind of thing where it's just like, poop jokes and well, they also had an episode on sex, where Kevin's older daughter is being bullied in sex ed, and it's funny how Taco realized that all the guys do whenever they go out drinking is they find something that's disgusting and weird, and then they just try to figure out a name for it, which is a great game. It's great. It's a wonderful game. Not as good as Ultimate Battle Game, but it's good. It's good. Yeah. A lot of good shows this week. I'm so happy I got to see the season premiere of both Arrow Season 4 and of American Horror Story Hotel. And I'm just so happy that I get to share it with you. I get to share it with all of you. You guys have just been so great. Thank you for all the follows. ZZ7700, thank you so much for following me tonight. Thank you so much for hitting that button. Again, the button, it's just right down there. It's just right down here. Right down there. Right down there. Yeah. It's like a little heart button. I got to do it in front of the mic. It's right down there. Now you can't see my hand, but that's okay. It's just right down there. You just hit that follow button and you follow me. That's it. So Wednesday, I'll be back, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, as I always am, right here on twitch.tv/thenewNerd. I will also post these up on YouTube. This past Wednesday's episode was loaded up last night, so if you want to go check out me talking about Gotham, talking about the Flash season premiere, talking about my favorite sitcoms, and talking about Once Upon a Time, definitely check those out. And I'm gonna cut this up, put it up there, so you could always just watch me, the new nerd. Just always watch me. We're gonna definitely on this Wednesday be talking about The Walking Dead, which premieres tonight. It's premiering right now. As we speak, The Walking Dead is on. And that's probably why there's only thousands of people watching me tonight, not millions. But yeah, I'm so happy all of you guys and girls are here to watch me, to watch this. It is tough, but I love doing it. I love talking to all you people. But yeah, let me know how you feel. Let me know. and we'll have a lot of fun. This is what it's all going to be about. This is what it's all going to be about. It's going to be about me letting informing you how I felt about all the shows and letting you know what happened in the shows and how it makes me feel, how it makes you feel, everything like that. We're going to be taking a look at The Walking Dead, Once Upon a Time, Gotham, Fargo, which is another show that follows in the same American Horror Story formula, where it actually was supposed to be a mini series with one season, but it's now in its second season, and it's going to be it's going to be epic. It's got such a great cast. Jeremy Donovan is in it, who was in Burn Notice. Patrick Wilson was in it. He was in the A-Team. He was the bad guy. And Kirsten Dunst. Get to see Kirsten Dunst. She gets to come back. It'll be good to see her. Definitely be good to see her. But anyway, if y'all just want another reminder, you have been watching The New Nerd in Town. I am the new nerd, as it says right here. I love everybody. I love TV. I love having a good time. And I love having a good time with you. Everybody, have a wonderful evening. Go watch the last 2 or 3 minutes of The Walking Dead. I'll give it to you that way. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Thank you so much for ZZ for following me, hitting that follow button. It's so easy. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. I gotta keep doing this. It's right there. It's right there. Just hit that follow button. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for letting me know that it's Michaela, not Jacqueline. And to all of you out there, you know I love you. You know I always will. And for all of those who are sick on this freezing, it's actually not that cold. For all of you who who are sick right now, please feel better. You know, the flu, it's nasty, and it's coming around. It's coming around. But anyway, have a great and wonderful evening. My name is Dave. I am the new nerd. This is the new nerd in town. Peace.